3-round unofficially scoring it for Spence.
Errol Spence Jr. is a force in the welterweight division, combining technique, speed, and unmatched toughness. Known for dictating the pace of his fights, he's built a legacy of dominance. Today, we'll explore his journey from early victories to the top and ask, can Spence rise again to reclaim his spot as one of the best? This is Errol "The Truth" Spence Jr., and this is his true story. Born on March 3, 1990 in Long Island, Errol grew up in Texas. He always had a passion for sports, but it wasn't until age 15 that he took up boxing seriously.
The whole reason I got into boxing because my dad heard about me fighting. My dad was just like, you get ready. I was like, what? He was like, you just get ready. I didn't know where we was going. Then next thing you know, we pulled up to a boxing gym. Then after a while, I just fell in love with it, and the rest was history.
Without the influence of his father, Spence Sr. boxing may have never been a part of Errol Spence Jr.'s life. His role models, however, extend far beyond his family.
I always been a fan of boxing. Me and my dad, I grew up watching Lennox Lewis because he's of Jamaican descent and my dad's Jamaican too. So we used to always go and watch him and go support him.
Lennox Lewis had a significant influence on Errol Spence, becoming a role model for him. Lewis always emphasized the importance of intelligence in boxing, and following his example, Spence not only enhanced his physical strength, but also his strategic thinking.
Muhammad Ali was an influence for me, and I'm glad and I'm happy and I'm joyed that somebody else has gained influence from my boxing.
Hard work, smart tactics, and discipline became the foundation of his style, which began to take shape even on the amateur circuit. In the amateurs, he won 3 national championships and represented the USA at the 2012 Olympics, where he reached the quarterfinals. After that, he decided to turn professional.
There's the line right there. There's the line right there. 4 rounds.
At 22, Errol made his professional debut in a 4-round bout against 19-year-old Jonathan Garcia. Spence knocked Garcia out in the 3rd round, making a strong start to his career.
Spence had another one, the left hand. Comes right back and Garcia's down.
A month later, Spence knocked out Richard Andrews on the undercard of Amir Khan versus Carlos Molina, showing his growing dominance.
With the left hand goes upstairs with the right and a left. And referee.
Errol, what is it like, again, the difference between the amateur and the pros now that you're 2 fights in?
The main difference is no headgear and no computer scoring. We're not fighting to the amateur system no more. We're fighting more of a pro style, and that's what we're more accustomed to.
And pays the price of that fight, taking 3 big shots.
Throughout 2013, Spence fought 8 times, winning all of them, with 6 victories coming by knockout.
What do you think about the motivation? And he leaves himself wide open up top.
And that's it. Stoppage.
In October, Spence went the full 8 rounds against Emmanuel Lartey.
Can he match up to the talent of Azuma Nelson?
But it was a one-sided affair, with all judges scoring at 79-73 in favor of Spence.
Short of Lartey, that didn't left hand. But here with Lartey having just over a minute, I mean,
Sunrise, Florida with the W. The Truth.
Spence wasn't just winning, he was destroying his opponents, earning the nickname The Truth for the way he laid out the harsh reality of his speed, toughness, and relentless pressure in the ring. By the end of 2013, Spence was 10-0 as a pro, with 8 knockouts under his belt.
Do you remember the moment where you first really hit a guy? Where you understood, oh wow, I can hit?
It was the Silver Gloves. I hit a guy and knocked him out, and he was saying that he couldn't move his legs, and I was like, man, I can crack.
No contest after that.
life is a race, don't you laugh.
June 27, 2014, marked Spence's TV debut on Showtime. He dominated Ronald Cruz in a 10-round bout, winning by unanimous decision with ease. One key moment in his career was when he sparred with Floyd Mayweather before Floyd's fight against Robert Guerrero.
Errol Spence helped me get ready for the Robert Guerrero fight. And I needed a guy like Errol Spence to push me. Hell of a fight. I needed him to push me, and I needed that. You know, we need guys like this in the sport of boxing.
Rumor has it that Spence impressed Floyd so much that Mayweather kicked him out of the gym for showing too much. Floyd later said, "This guy is the future of boxing."
Errol Spence.
On December 13, 2014, Spence scored a fifth-round technical knockout over Javier Castro at the MGM Grand, further cementing his rise in the welterweight division.
It's become target practice now. Oh, this is it. And finally he's seen.
On April 11, 2015, Errol Spence secured a victory over Samuel Vargas via a technical knockout in the fourth round of a scheduled 10-round fight during the Premier Boxing Champions event at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, bringing his record to 16-0.
Had the right hit decision. But he has been knocked down in this last round we saw. And Spence trying to touch. And the referee moves in and stops.
On May 16th, it was announced that Spence would fight on the undercard of Sean Porter versus Adrian Broner at the MGM Grand on June 20th. Originally, Spence was set to face Roberto Garcia, but Garcia pulled out just 3 days before the event due to weight issues. Phil LoGreco stepped in as the replacement opponent.
Spence situation for LoGreco, how difficult.
Spence landed 73 of 142 punches, 51%, while LoGreco managed only 19 of 132, 14%.
Talked about earlier back in May of 2013, losing that Vargas who had come in.
Spence dominated LoGreco, winning via a third-round technical knockout.
LoGreco looking to use the stiff arm method in round 3. Oh, right hand by LoGreco. Another right hand by Spence.
Just a good punch or two away from Spence ending things.
Go in this third round. It's all Spence and it's all.
Next, Spence fought Chris Van Heerden on the undercard of the Stevenson-Karpency bout at Ricoh Coliseum.
Strong hands is behind the fight. We should look for him to be conquer is really sound fundamentals. Tight for Van Heerden.
You're in the desperation mode, Prince. Wow. Oh, and down he goes.
The referee stopped the fight in the 8th round after Spence knocked Van Heerden down twice in the 7th.
Again, that body low.
But now he can only lay up against the ropes. This seems like it could be a matter of time. And you know what? That's enough.
You don't talk loud, you don't boast, you know, but I can see you come alive when you talk about knocking that guy out. What'd you hit him with?
Hit him with straight left. I mean, who doesn't love knockouts? That's the, you know, the ultimate way to win in boxing, a knockout.
In a matchup between Errol Spence Jr. and Alejandro Barrera on November 28, 2015, at the Bomb Factory in Dallas, Spence displayed his remarkable power and skills.
As you were talking about it,
tonight will be enough to get him in a right uppercut and then falls right afterwards.
The bout was an IBF welterweight title eliminator.
quick shot and then get together. So put Barrera down.
Barrera, with a record of 28 wins, 18 by knockout, and 2 losses, was a Mexican fighter known for his aggression and heavy punches. From the opening bell, Spence took control, using swift footwork and precise punches.
Errol Spence using his jab, double jab cross, snaps back the head of
Barrera tried to put up resistance, but he couldn't pose a significant threat.
Body shot by Spence.
By the 5th round, Spence was in full control and unleashed a series of punishing blows that forced the referee to stop the fight.
His most effective working his way
in this round. Settled down. Good left hand by Spence. He's wind him up, and here he comes.
Oh, and there we go.
And then there's 3 shots to the body.
It was the body shot that dropped Barrera to open that body up again. He's got to go downstairs. And you see Barrera shaking his head. No.
This fight cemented Spence's reputation, and by the end of 2015, ESPN.com named him Prospect of the Year, further boosting his status in the boxing world.
He won his biggest fight right here.
On April 16, 2016, at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, Spence faced Chris Algieri. This was one of the biggest fights of Spence's career up to that point.
Chris Trainer told us something very interesting. I said he's fought Manny Pacquiao, he's fought Amir Khan.
The 10-round fight was against former lightweight champion Algieri, known for his resilience and ability to survive tough situations. Despite the support of 7,628 fans cheering for Algieri, Spence controlled the fight from start to finish.
Got to move his head, he can't continue to take those nice right hands like Chris. Algieri, so interesting point he talked about in the fighter meeting just today. Moving the head, Algieri would make it.
And all three wrestlers unofficially scoring it for Spence and going down.
The fight ended when Spence delivered a brutal left hook to Algieri's face, knocking him out cold.
Went down. He's not going to be able to take too much.
The wounded prey, and he knows it. And Spence.
Referee Benji Estevez immediately stopped the fight.
Spence Jr.
Afterwards, Spence said, "Kell Brook knows what time it is. We got to get in the ring and fight." Later, the IBF declared that Spence would need to fight in a final eliminator before becoming the mandatory challenger. Spence's next fight against Leonard Bundu was a crucial step toward an IBF title shot. Before the fight, Spence dismissed claims made by Eddie Hearn, Kell Brook's promoter, who said Spence's team turned down a fight with Brook. Spence explained that the IBF had ordered him to fight the number 3 ranked Konstantin Ponomarev in a final eliminator to become Brook's mandatory challenger. However, Ponomarev injured his hand on June 9th, forcing him to withdraw, so Spence had to face the number 7 ranked Leonard Bundu instead. The fight took place on August 21, 2016, at the Ford Amphitheater. Spence set the tone from the start, breaking Bundu down over 5 one-sided rounds. In the 6th round, Spence cornered Bundu and landed an uppercut that sent him to the canvas. Referee Johnny Callis stopped the fight without a count. After the fight, Spence reiterated his desire for a world title shot, saying,
I want to shout out Kell Brook as soon as he's done with Triple G. You know, if he's not going to fight me, then he needs to vacate, and I fight somebody else. But I definitely want that IBF title shot this year.
With a perfect 21-0 record, Spence had proven he was ready for the elite level. He needed a marquee fight, and he got it, against Kell Brook for the IBF title.
Championship of the world.
In 2017, Spence fought for his first world title against Kell Brook in England.
Brook's weight for the British belt have gone up to super welterweight. Trying to get that jab going.
Before the fight, Brook had been in negotiations with Amir Khan, but those talks fell through, and negotiations with Spence's team resumed. The fight was confirmed at a press conference in March, and the date was set for May 27th.
There's people shouting and screaming all around us at ringside. You have to draw on that experience. And you said there,
Spence consistently targeted Brook's head and body, wearing him down over time.
both so positive and aggressive.
What is effective for them body shots, Kell Brook. Countered at this level. Let's not forget Kell Brook.
Oh, right.
They went right in with that right hook. Effective shot. It was terrible. Obscured his vision.
In the 10th round, Spence backed Brook into the ropes and unleashed a barrage of punches, forcing Brook to take a knee.
Spence Jr. is the one who's had much more success in the last few minutes. Kell Brook's hurt here, and he's down.
By the 11th round, Brook signaled he couldn't see out of his left eye and took a knee again, failing to beat the count.
From Errol Spence Jr.
Yeah, the confidence back. Good shot there from Spencer. Brook looking troubled here on the ropes.
Holding on again against Golovkin, the eye against Errol Spence.
In the process, Spence not only claimed the IBF belt, but also broke Brook's eye socket, forcing him to quit in the 11th round. After the fight, Spence admitted it wasn't his best performance, but said, "I give myself a B-. I was a little bit off with my offense and defense, but I give Kell a lot of credit. This is what true champions do. You go anywhere to fight. In October 2017, Lamont Peterson vacated his WBA regular title, targeting a shot at Errol Spence's IBF belt. On November 5th, the fight was officially set for January 20th. On fight night, Spence systematically broke down Peterson both physically and mentally.
Get that range. Get the momentum. Lamont Peterson. On social media, Spence Peterson. Exactly what I said. I was telling him to press. He's starting to come out. Get backed up. Errol Spence momentarily. Spence goes right back to the grimace. Spence left hook behind the head.
Peterson was knocked down in the 5th round by a left hook, but managed to get back up. Despite facing a barrage of punches, Peterson kept fighting, though his face was visibly swollen, showing the toll of Spence's relentless attacks. However, after enduring numerous powerful blows, including body shots, Peterson's trainer, Barry Hunter, stopped the fight at the start of the 8th round to protect his fighter. Hunter explained his decision to stop the fight, emphasizing that Peterson's health was more important than the victory. At the time of the stoppage, all 3 judges had it 70-62 in Spence's favor. Post-fight, Spence praised Peterson for taking the fight when others refused. He acknowledged that trainer Derek James had prepared a great strategy, and Spence executed it. Spence also admitted he needed to work on his defense. After the win, Spence called out unified champion Keith Thurman. On January 23, 2018, the IBF ordered Spence to defend his title against undefeated prospect Carlos Ocampo, who held a 22-0 record with 13 KOs. Before a sold-out crowd of 12,604, Spence knocked out Ocampo in the 1st round, retaining his IBF title. A body shot floored Ocampo, and referee Lawrence Cole counted him out as he struggled to get back up, unable to continue. This marked Spence's 11th consecutive knockout since 2014. Next, he delivered a masterclass performance against one of boxing's top technicians, Mikey Garcia, leaving no chance for his opponent.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is...
On October 25, 2018, BoxingScene.com reported that negotiations between Spence and Mikey Garcia were progressing, with the fight likely to happen in February 2019 on Showtime PPV. Garcia had called out Spence even before unifying titles at lightweight. On March 16, 2019, at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, Spence and Garcia faced off in a welterweight bout.
21 via knockout.
Many were skeptical due to the size difference, as Spence was a large welterweight. In the ring, Spence dominated from the start, using his reach advantage and landing jabs to Garcia's head and body, connecting with 108 jabs throughout the fight. Garcia tried to close the distance, but Spence controlled even the inside exchanges, landing powerful shots. In the 8th and 9th rounds, Spence threw over 100 punches, mostly power shots, while maintaining relentless pressure on Garcia. By the end, Spence had landed 345 punches to Garcia's 75. The judges scored at 120 to 107 and 120 to 108 in Spence's favor, granting him a shutout victory. On September 28, 2019, Spence took part in one of his most thrilling fights, a war with Shawn Porter, where he unified the IBF and WBC titles.
At 32-1, away we go.
Porter came out aggressively, knowing Spence had the edge in technical boxing, making the fight intense and action-packed.
Remaining in round 1, scheduled for 12. Good counter by. And then a right for Porter. Well, Spence off balance.
It was a no-nonsense battle, but a knockdown in the 11th round sealed the deal for Spence. Spence dropped Porter in the 11th.
1 minute remaining and low!
And ultimately won via split decision, 116 to 111, 116 to 111, 112 to 115.
Unofficial scorer, Marcos.
This fight is often considered a contender for Fight of the Year.
I definitely believe it's a miracle for me to survive, and a year later, have a fight coming up and we're fighting in my hometown. I feel like this is a second chance for me, and I can't let it go.
In 2019, Spence miraculously survived a horrific car accident. His Ferrari flipped multiple times, and he was sidelined for a year. Everyone wondered how he would return. The answer? As the same champion. Errol Spence stepped back into the ring on December 5, 2020, to defend his IBF and WBC titles against Danny Garcia. Garcia, a former two-division world champion, was a serious opponent despite not having fought since 2019. He was considered one of the top fighters in the welterweight division and posed a real threat to Spence.
The effects of that car crash.
From the start, Spence took control, using his signature technique and maintaining distance with an excellent jab.
And, he was practicing the right hand to the body, so I'm expecting the right hand to
Garcia, despite his toughness and solid counterattacks, struggled to find the range to impose his own game on Spence.
Right now, and look at him, he's power, doesn't he? I mean, he doesn't have that body where you think he's going to hurt you. It's a hard right as well. And he's such a complete boxer. But there's a hard left.
For 12 rounds, Spence dominated at mid-range, while Garcia couldn't break through his defense.
Great by Errol Spence.
The most notable aspect of the fight was how Spence, despite a long layoff and the psychological toll of the accident, demonstrated his resilience and technique. Garcia tried to use his power, but Spence was quicker and more accurate, controlling the pace of the fight.
Those are hard right hands.
They were blocked, and Errol Spence is doing the right thing, keeping his hands up. It's always dangerous.
Probably more difficult to see with that eye.
Is so important when you're at this.
After 12 rounds, the judges unanimously awarded Spence the victory. It was a convincing win that reaffirmed Spence's status as one of the best welterweights. Despite the challenges he had faced leading up to the fight, he proved he was still elite.
We have breaking news here at CBS Sports HQ. Errol Spence Jr. is not going to be fighting Manny Pacquiao a week from Saturday. He won't be fighting Pacquiao at all.
On May 21, 2021, 8-division world champion Manny Pacquiao made a surprise announcement on social media, revealing that he and Spence would meet in the ring on August 21 in Las Vegas on Fox PPV. PBC and Fox confirmed the news, and it was reported that both fighters had signed contracts. Previously, in March 2019, Pacquiao and Spence met in the ring after Spence's victory over Mikey Garcia, and both expressed a desire to face each other. On June 23rd, the venue was officially announced as T-Mobile Arena. However, on August 10th, Spence had to withdraw from the fight due to a torn retina in his left eye. He was replaced by Yordenis Ugas, who put his WBA super welterweight title on the line. After Ugas's win over Pacquiao, he requested that the WBA allow him to skip his mandatory defense against Stanionis for a unification bout with Spence.
As the best welterweight in the world.
The WBA denied the request and instead ordered the fight with Stanionis, which was not agreed upon. Eventually, on December 19, 2021, it was confirmed that Spence and Ugas would face each other after Stanionis stepped aside. The fight took place on April 16, 2022, in Arlington, Texas.
Into the third. There's a left hook by Ugas. September of 19.
Absolutely, and you know.
Spence dominated the fight, leading on all scorecards.
Active, using his Ugas, whereas Ugas...
But did Spence recover? We've never seen Spence tested to that degree.
Spence won by technical knockout in the 10th round, after the doctors stopped the fight due to the swelling of Ugas's right eye.
Continues to pound away on the left side of your Dennis Ugas. And this one is over.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to T-Mobile Arena here in Las Vegas. 2 days from now on Saturday, July 29th, history will be made.
Not taking, any credit away from Errol. He's a great fighter. He's good at what he do, but I'm just a better fighter. Yeah, all right, we're gonna see. We definitely gonna see.
The fight for the undisputed champion title against Crawford was meant to be the pinnacle of Spence's career. Spence and WBO welterweight champion Terence Crawford agreed to terms for a unification bout, which took place on July 29, 2023, in Las Vegas at the T-Mobile Arena for the undisputed welterweight title. But reality was harsh.
The bell and round one. Two southpaws in his
Pressure from Spence, calculated.
The fight began cautiously, with both men moving actively and working behind their jabs.
He's just one of a kind in any way, Al, but high output Crawford, yes, likes to.
But it's the Spence jab that's doing the effect right now, or is having the effect.
And thus
In the second round, Spence started to press forward but paid the price quickly.
sharp jab, fast, explosive jab to the head and the body, and there's a combination.
Third round was explosive. Both fighters exchanged punches, but Crawford steadily gained control, landing counters at will.
Left and landed on
Another one, and now Spence going to the body. But Crawford fighting back. Both of these guys are dogs in that ring. Midway point of the third, still time. Beautiful combination there by Spence, but the counter and the speed of Crawford on the...
By the fourth round, Crawford had complete control of the fight. Spence was trapped in the corner, his punches ineffective. Crawford was more accurate and faster, forcing a doctor to check if Spence could continue.
And the advice given to Spence,
perhaps the...
He's feeling really comfortable right now, Crawford.
Spence continued to struggle against Crawford's counters. He tried to pressure, but Crawford's shots were devastating.
he's got to land something that makes a difference.
And the counter right hook and the right hand from Crawford. Every time Spence walks in,
That's a ridiculous percentage.
against a fellow pound. Oh, there's a left hand that...
He was hoping it would have.
In the sixth round, Spence attempted to slow Crawford down with body shots, but Crawford absorbed them easily and responded with sharp jabs.
Because it's what he does.
Yeah, he's got to get inside. He can't reach.
Oh, my goodness. Double jab.
The seventh round was another disaster for Spence. He was caught with a counter and knocked down again.
From Farhood, Errol won the first round on his unofficial score.
Crawford didn't rush to finish, knowing he had full control of the fight.
The preternaturally talented Terence Bud Crawford. The accuracy, the punishment.
Sorry, Spence. I mean, there's always a reaction.
By the end of the round, Crawford dropped Spence once more.
But only landed 28, so it has not been.
In the ninth round, Spence could barely stand. Crawford's punches were precise and destructive.
Got to make sense of this fight right now. He's been hurt.
The referee stopped the fight, and Crawford became the first undisputed world champion in 2 weight divisions. After the loss to Crawford, Spence decided to take a break.
I'm definitely open to the rematch, and hopefully it'll be at 154 pounds. Yeah.
Rumors of a rematch are swirling, but the real question is, can he restart his career? Errol Spence went through fire to become a champion, but his loss to Terrence Crawford has opened a new chapter in his career. Now the whole world is waiting. How will Spence respond to this challenge? A rematch with Crawford is still up for discussion, but there's another rising threat on the horizon. Jaron "Boots" Ennis, who's quickly gaining momentum. Many are already calling him the future king of the welterweight division. A potential clash between Spence and Ennis could be one of the most talked about matchups in recent years. This fight wouldn't just test Spence, but also give him the chance to prove he can still set the standard at the top of the division. The stakes are clear. Either Spence comes back stronger, or the young star Ennis emerges as the new threat in the welterweight division. By the way, if you haven't seen my video on Jaron "Boots" Ennis, make sure to check it out right now. Find out why he's being called the next king of welterweights, and what challenges he could bring to Spence or Crawford.
I am number one, not number two. If I'm not the one, I'm uncomfortable. See the competition I've been running through. Leveled up, I only see him